Oh, so
There we go.
All right, see. So yeah. So today I'm going to talk about mastering goals and tying customers into your goals. So this is very, I think I'm going to say like top three, two things in the presentation that you have to get down. You have to memorize your goals. I hope everyone does know like their goals. And if you don't, that's okay. We're going to help you like make those. And I'm pretty sure in training, they did a topic on how to create those goals for you and what that looks like. Um, but people buy Cutco, they buy from you because of the why, right? Um, it's an emotional purchase. And so when it comes to tying your customers into your goal, they want to support you, right? And a lot of times, a lot of people aren't saying no to you. It's just that they're saying no to that specific product or whatever was in front of them. But it helps whenever you really tie people into your goals to push them to that set that maybe they're wanting, maybe they couldn't do today, but you're able to really tell them how they can help you out. So this is the way how you can connect with your customer. And so I am going to ask for permission to share my screen here in a second. So if we can allow me to share my screen, that'd be awesome. But Mr. and Mrs. Jones, love to hear what young people have to share their goals. It's very inspiring. And it's a great thing because a lot of adults don't have goals. So when they have a kid or when they have someone in college or, a young adult coming in and saying, hey, this is my goals in life, they're like, dang, that's awesome. That's baller. That's stellar. So they're already helping you out by listening to your appointment, which is great. And they love to hear about personal and like, why are you selling knives? I get that question till today. Like, why are you selling knives? Like, why are you not doing something else? So this is where it comes in where you need to share that, right? And the biggest thing too is asking for permission. And so I always, in my presentation, whether I'm at the booth, whether I'm at an in-person appointment, or even virtually, I'm saying, hey, is it okay if I share my goals with you? Tell you the reason why I'm selling these knives. It's not just for fun, right? And they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead. So I share my goals at least two times in the demo, twice in the beginning and then at the end, right before recommendations. So I share my goals about me right when I'm learning and just being introduced to the customer, getting to know them, chit chat in the beginning. And then I ask for it if if they're kind of hesitant, like if I say, hey, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, would you like to go ahead and get the Homemaker Plus 8 for XYZ today and also get your freebies, right? Um, and they're like, no, and then you just keep dropping down, then I will reiterate my goals again, be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, I completely understand. Like, it seems like you really, really, really love Cutco or you really like it. It's just that it just doesn't align with today, right? Is it more having to deal with the price or is it trying to find the package that fits your needs and that you find the most value in, right? And so that's when I would go ahead and reiterate my goals and say, hey, by the way, like I'm working so hard this summer. I'm planning on buying a new car and I'm looking at putting down a deposit on a house and surprising my mom for her 70th birthday. All these things I'm trying to do, which I've already talked about before. If I can go a little bit out of my way, of course, you called your manager. They said, hey, give them this deal. That's when you reiterate. After you get off the phone with your manager, you reiterate your goals. Be like, hey, my manager said we can blah, 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 blah. By the way, because I'm really, really working towards this goal, this is what I can do for you, right? Because anything you get for free comes out of your pocket, right? So you really, and this is something I'm telling you guys, this was baller. And I don't want to go too much into the sales portion of it, but anything that you bonus, anything that you give away free is deducted from your paycheck. Okay. So you have to make sure how you're framing things. It's all about what people are listening to. It's all about visually what they're seeing. And so you have to let them know that it's coming out of your pocket, right? It's like, hey, this is what I can do for you. Cutco does set the prices, but I'm a sales representative. What I'm willing to do just so I can hit my goal is give you this for free, or we can actually discount this set to blah, 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 right? And then when it comes to recommendations at the end, then I will reiterate my goals again. And so I basically will say, Something off the lines like, "Hey, Mrs. Jones, I get paid every time I get to show Cutco, but only can show it to people that I've been personally recommended to. Um, what I need you to do, pull out your phone, go ahead and jot down 200 or 300 people, blah, 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 funny, funny, funny." And then I will say, by the way, this is the only way how I can continue with Cutco. So I'll go ahead and add the goals when I'm asking for recommendations. Like without recommendations, I can't work and I can't meet those goals and I can't, blah, blah, blah. So that's something that I do. All right. And so what I want to do is I want to show you how to properly share your goals. This isn't a time to talk about everything and anything. All right. You have to be very respectful of their time. And you deserve, to do this in your life to share the most important things. Right. So this is a time where you become a little bit more serious. Right. I'm pretty sure like you're joking, you're getting to know the person in the beginning. This is friends and family. A lot of people are on their fast start. So we're all seeing people that we know. But this is a part where you get serious, right? And so it is kind of like, oh, they're so used to seeing me in this demeanor, this way. Let me, really hone in on sharing my goals. So let me share my screen and I'm gonna present just kind of like a slideshow that I made like probably 2 years ago or about a year ago. So it's not up to date, but it should cover what it needs to. Okay, so can everyone see, make it a little bit bigger. Everyone can see it's black right now. This about me. Okay, sweet. So yeah, this was like when I had just graduated. But yeah, so I just, go into about me, family, the most of the things that are important to me that are very close, I talk about. And then I go into like the Cutco family. I explain like how long I've been doing Cutco for, how many people I've met throughout these years, XYZ. And then the next one is now the personal goals. So it's still loading. Okay. So this is where I'm like, Mrs. Jones. Now, I know Cutco. I actually had never planned on doing it for this long of like this long extended time, but this has been a driving vehicle for me. It's been able to introduce me to different people all across the United States, entrepreneurs, architects. And so having my master's in architecture, my goal is to create my own business with that. My goal is to buy property, flip them, to work with commercial and also residential, and then also just to create my own schedule. That's why I love Cutco, because of the flexibility. I'm able to pick up wherever I want to go. I could travel to Ibiza, I could travel to Dubai and go anywhere, and I can still work from wherever I want to work from. So having that flexibility to choose my lifestyle, and also being your own boss, right? I'm pretty sure you would like to. I don't, and you at this point, what occupation they're in, you already know who they are. So like, I kind of play around, like if they are working a 9 to 5, I'm like, I'm sure you would like to wake up and choose your schedule, huh? And I just kind of joke around with them. And so yeah, just being able to create the lifestyle that I want for me and my family. And then I just go over like the wins that happen, sold over 200K, scholarships, nationally ranked, things like that. And then the biggest thing is like Mrs. Jones this summer, I'm working super hard to sell $100,000. Okay. This is our slow time for shows, events, and just in general. A lot of companies, this is their downtime and they're vamping up for the fall, right? They're getting ready for the big holidays and all the special occasions coming up. So I'm busting my butt this summer, not only to like be the number one person at SE1, but also be number one at SE2. I want to be on the stage up there. Um, and I'm very competitive. So my goal is to reach that, to complete 150 demos, with selling $100,000. So then that's why in the end, so they now see this tracker. And by the way, if you don't have this tracker, reach out to your manager or reach out to me. I have PDFs of this and you can actually like you can digitally fill it in like I did. It's kind of, you can make it look better, or you can print it. And whenever you go in person, you can have them physically sign. You can physically, box off the sheet. And that way it's great. Whenever you're telling people things orally, it's nice. But when people get to see something physically in front of them, it's even more credibility. So definitely have the sheet in your PowerPoint, somewhere in your presentation. So that way they can visually see that people have been doing this. they can see it's not just something you're talking about. Okay. So yeah, this definitely helps. I've been using this since when I first started, and I still do it today. So yes. And then of course your end goal. My goal is to, of course, be in that President's Club. That Rolex, super nice, you know. It's I always like to have some nice timepiece on me. So for sure, I'm a jewelry girl. Definitely going after that Rolex. So, you know, I go more in depth and talk about what that looks like and everything like that. And another way too, this is another goal, Mrs. Jones. So like I hope that at the end of my presentation, you like me enough to recommend me to some of your friends. But the really cool thing is there's an automatic sponsorship where every 10 people that you recommend to me, you get to sign my automatic sponsorship. And once I reach this entire sheet, I actually get a free piece of Cutco for my manager. And this is something that a lot of people like work super hard to get. So yeah, hopefully you have like 1,000 people to give me at the end, which I'm looking forward to because we can just fill this whole sheet out today. And then talk about, you know, help me sell in all different 50 states. Of course, the virtual world is awesome. I actually just did a demo 2 days ago and sold like a homemaker with scissors, entertainer pack, all this stuff. Because I focused on this part, I really tied them into my goals. It's a lot harder for customers. Um, Not harder, but they're not able to see the product physically, right? So everything is, like I said, is visually and orally. So you have to grab their attention and you have to make sure when you are doing virtual appointments, sharing your goals, that you have inflection whenever you're talking as well. Yeah. And then, of course, they give back. So I just talk about Angel Wings, Alzheimer's Foundation, breast cancer. Cutco is a part of all local and national charities, things like that. Okay. And then, so that's basically what that looks like as far as sharing goals visually. And then, of course, when you're in person orally, you can still do the same thing. So I still will pull up my slideshow in person and I'll still show it to them on like my iPad. So same thing. But yeah, so that's the main thing is not just sharing your Cutco goals, right? Like Mrs. Jones, I want to sell 10K, I want to sell 20K. That's cool, but why? Like, why do you want to sell 10K? Why do you want to sell 20K for what? Right? Just because you did it. So you explain what is a push, right? We're about to enter SE1. So this is everyone's first time doing summer campaign one. And this is a time where it's called a push for a reason. You're going to be pushing yourself harder than you have before, right? And so when it comes to a push, your customer has no idea what that is. And I'm pretty sure most of people in here are probably like, I don't even know what you're talking about. What is a push? um, but you're going to be able to explain to them and build that urgency as to why we're pushing and building importance to why we're doing it. So, you know, whether your goal is 10K for the push, 5K, 2K, 20K, 30K, whatever that looks like for you, you want to make sure you write that number down. And you want to make sure that you put that, of course, in your goal sheet. So that way they can see where you at right now, how far you're away from that, and that you can also see every day, every time you're filling it out and they're checking it off, you can see how far you are from your goal. So yeah, and like one thing that I do also in the presentation that I kind of like joke around, it's like, hey, Mrs. Jones, I'm going after 30K for the push. So if you'd like to just go ahead and write me a check for 30K, that'd be awesome. And I'll be on my way out, right? And just like make it fun, right? This is a whole idea. Like you're seeing friends and family. They're seeing a different side of you, sales pitch. So it is, you know, you have to make sure it's fun and you're having a good time doing it, but also be serious whenever you are tying them into your goals and why this is so important to you. And yeah, make sure you just have the customer sign. Like one thing that I did too is whenever I'm creating the goals on the slideshow is I just wrote down like what is 5 years from now look like? What do I want to do in 5 years? What do I want to do in 10 years? What do I want to accomplish in 15, 20? And I just found images on like Google and just paste them on there. So I'm not sure like what occupation or what you guys are looking to do in the future. But me putting architecture on there, I've seen of so many architects and I do freelance now and I help out other companies with designs, schematic development and design development all throughout. And so just by sharing that, it's been able to help open up more doors. So definitely share whatever you aspire, singer, dancer, whatever that is for you, please share that because you never know who may know someone in what industry, right? All right. So another thing too, let's see. So yeah, when you're sharing the goals, you just want to let them know, like, hey, I've been with Cutco for XYZ. I'm working to become the number one rep. I'm working to be the number one rep in Houston or in my division, in my office, right? Anything you get today, I'll be able to give you a great deal. And if you also will be helping me towards my goal. Okay. So I'll repeat that because that's something that you do want to say. Anything that you get today, I will be able to give you a great deal. Anything that you get today, I'll be able to give you a great deal. And you also will be helping me towards my goals. And you also will be helping me towards my goals. Okay. Very simple. So anything you get today, I'll be able to give you a great deal. And you also will be helping me towards my goal. Hey, so Mrs. Jones, just so I know, do you cook because you like to, have to, like to, or love to? Sweet, you're gonna love Cutco. Let's go. All right. So that's what I have for you guys today. And I'm gonna open it up for questions now. Don't be afraid. And if you don't have questions about goals, then slideshow, presentations, visually, what that looks like, or anything like in the demo wise. Like I can also answer similar related questions. If you just have a design, like a diaring question, ask away.
Did you say you share your goals at the beginning and end of your demos? Okay. And
Yes.
then when you are sharing your goals, do you kind of like briefly go into them, or do you kind of also talk about why you have them? You're like, hey, I have this goal because, like I want to do this. Do you talk about that too? Or do you feel like that takes too much time? Or they're like, oh, I don't really want to know that. I just want to know your goals. What do you think about that?
Oh yeah, I spend like 10 to 15 minutes in the beginning
Okay.
talking to the customer, like listening to them, getting to know them, sharing my goals about me. I also do go in depth about the awards and recognition. So I kind of like I went through that slideshow pretty quickly just for time purposes today because I know you guys are going to start making calls soon.
Mhm.
But when it comes to about me, that's when I'm like, hey, this is who I am. This is blah blah blah. I went to school for this. This is how old I am. How long I've been with Cutco, and then I go into my Cutco family. I've been able to meet amazing people throughout the years. It's just some of my clients. I have over 1,500, blah, 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 blah. And then I go into the personal goals. So then I will really spend time on this one. Like, hey, like I've been doing Cutco for 7 years. I started in college and I've been using it as a driving vehicle. It's been able to open so many doors for me and help out my family. So one of the biggest goals for me is to have my own business with architecture, have my own firm, sustainability, and I kind of go in depth of like what that looks like. And then I would say also like being my own boss, being able to create my own schedule, being able to take off when I want to take off, right? Like I can take off today if I wanted to. I'm not. But being able to see what that like designing my own lifestyle, my own schedule for myself, really hit on that flexibility. And I explain why. Like that's why I stay with Cutco because there's no other job. Like obviously I can go work for a firm, but I'm clocking in 9 to 5, right?
Mhm.
And then the next one was the what I did last year, I think. Let me see. No, it was the summer goal. So like that thermometer sheet, you want to make sure you have that thermometer sheet for sure. Like
Okay.
I print one for SE1. So I have one for the summer. I have one for SE1 goal, and I have an SE2 goal. And then I'm able to like basically I like, as I'm doing this full time, I'm able to segment and look at what does the summer look like for me? What do I
Mhm.
need to do this summer? Now to sell $100,000, what do I need to do SE1? What do I need to do SE2? What I need to do in between that? So I just say the overall goal is this. And then whenever SE1 starts, then I will have another sheet
Okay.
within that. So yeah, sharing that
Okay.
number. But yeah, I spend 15 minutes, at least 15 minutes in the beginning. And what I'll do is, because I'm kind of doing something different this year. Like I'm doing different than I've had before. And I'm doing a lot of virtual appointments. Like virtual appointments have been really, really good for me so
Mhm.
far. So I'm gonna open it up for people to like field train. So you can see how I do that, how I run it. And
Mhm.
then um the other thing I was gonna say, ooh, yeah, I'm gonna open it up for field training for the virtual presentations. And yeah, then I go into like what I did last year. That was something else I was gonna say. That's pretty
Okay.
much. Oh yeah, at the end, my bad. So then when I share the goals at the end, I lightly touch on it. So I say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I can see like you really like Cutco. It just seems like it is a lot today, which I completely understand. So much that the company sets the prices. I'm an extension of the company. There's so much that I can do. What I'm willing to do, because at this point, I'm not calling anyone. I'm just, talking to them. But after you called your manager, you want to say this phrase, or if you want to implement it, it'd be good. This is what I can do for you. I'm able to go ahead and discount that set for you because I'm working so hard to hit that 10K for SC1, and I really, really, really want to be on stage. And I'm working really hard to save up for school and also buy my car, whatever that is for you, whatever that goal is for you. So this is what I can do for you. I can give you that free ice cream scoop. I can discount the set $200, whatever that is, just for helping me out today, Mrs. Jones. How does that sound? That's something you can do on most customers do break it up on a 5 pay. It's like 87 or it's 120 today. Is that something that you could swing? Stop. So yeah. Good question.
Um, I have one more question.
Mhm.
So, like, obviously, like the good things about Cutco, I mean, is the product, but whenever for us personally, what kind of things do you really highlight when you're like, hey, Cutco does this for me? I know you talk about like scheduling, but like what else kind of like for like a college kid do you think would catch their eye the most and be like, hey, this company is really trying to do like the best for him and all these other college kids, all these young people. So,
Yeah, that's a good question. So biggest thing well, at least for me, was these soft skills and learning skills, right? These are skills that you're going to learn. There's so many people, I mean, nowadays, I mean, you guys are probably like 2021. So I'm 26. So I'm like 5 years or whatever. So y'all were born in majority of y'all are born in 2000, I'm assuming. I know it's like I'm 97, so not that far from there, but I was born in 1900s. But like nowadays, people our age, they're just not super into formal, like being able to hold a conversation, attention span, things like that. So being able to teach us soft skills of how to articulate, how to um, present ourselves, that's very important. Everyone goes off of first impression, whether in an interview, your significant other, whoever that is, it's how you present yourself, right? And that's a true testament of who your character is how you conduct and how you go about doing things. So very important to learn those soft skills of being able to speak, right? Being able to articulate, being able to manage your schedule. I mean, that's a really big thing too, is I still kind of struggle with time management, but I've gotten so much better through Cutco. Because if I don't work, I don't make money. That's really pushes me. So I have that internal motivation to continuously keep working. Another thing too that's going to help, Cutco offers entrepreneurial internships. That's something that you really want to push for, or not push for, but you really want to talk about. So this is actually an opportunity that the company gives to college students to run their own business in Cutco. So we're able to run interviews, training. We have our own office, and the company gives us money up front to do that. It's low risk and low money, right? because it's everything, the company gives us money to do that. And only a few people are selected to actually do this entrepreneur internship. And so I'm working really hard this summer so that when my boss recommends me or my manager recommends me to my divisional manager, Kathy, or if you're in Kathy's office, assistant manager, whoever that is, or this guy here on Zoom, but I forget his name. And so like I'm working really hard to be one of the candidates to have my own internship. And I can also use that depending on what major you're in, because I got some credits for my business minor. We can actually get credits towards school. So that's something that I'm working really hard to do as well. And then also the biggest thing also that most college students get attracted to is scholarships, right? I like free money. I don't know who doesn't. So that's another way too. Every summer, the top 50 college students get scholarships, and our name and our picture goes all across the United States. So I'm working really hard to win an All-American scholarship. And I'm telling you, I said that every single time. And typically, I don't know what it is nowadays, but like my first summer, I won an All-American scholarship and I didn't even know it. Like it was so it's the last week of August. It's from May to August until a lot of people started school, like people just kind of stopped selling right when they're about to get into college, like back into school. And so I was still like up until the last week of August. I like passed like a whole bunch of people. I was like 44th in the nation, but like it was because I was consistent and I kept pushing. So just don't give up because you never know at the end, like it shifts. And so typically, just to like kind of give you I think it's like you have to sell at least like 30K, 30 to like 40 to like be the top 100, top 50 for like the whole entire summer. So that's a goal. Like, hey, my goal is to sell 30K for the summer. That's gonna give me, I want to say like $10,000 to $12,000, right? How many friends making $10,000 to $12,000 in the summer? Yeah, no, slim to none, right? So that's something you can use. Like, I want to pay for my school. I want to save up for XYZ. But I mean, don't tell them that's how much you're going to make. Don't say that. Just say I'm going after 30K because they're gonna be like, oh damn, let me join Cutco too. So yeah, but definitely you want to share a lot in the beginning about that scholarship, recognition, being in front of my manager for entrepreneur internships, getting college credits, and then also what that looks like for you, flexibility, time management, things like that. So yeah. Hope that made sense. Cool. Anyone else? Any other questions that you just can't hold back? All right. Well, if you guys do have any questions afterwards, of course, just let me know actually I'm gonna or you just reach out to me on Google, on GroupMe. I'm on GroupMe on the Warriors GroupMe. Just direct message me. I'm on GroupMe. And then for field training, I am building my schedule as we speak. Awesome job, Isaiah, as well, for making 150 calls. That is extremely hard. Yeah. No, that is hard. And I
No.
like want to give you congratulations on that because
No, it was from like 8 a.m. to like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I was just making straight calls. I
wow.
had like, I think I had 3 demos. One of them was virtual, but like between those, I was like calling. But I was like, I have to try to get this many demos done this week. So I really wanted to
Mhm.
make it top heavy yesterday.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. But then when you look at your schedule, you're like, dang, I got 17 appointments or 20, however many in front
Yeah.
of you.
Yeah.
And then you just, continue that, right?
Yeah.
And another thing too, this is an extra tip I'm going to put out there. It's called Leapfrog. Has anyone heard of Leapfrog? Okay, no. So a leapfrog basically in the appointment, when you're asking for recommendations and they're writing them down or they're doing it through the app, right? They're giving you the numbers and then you're looking at them. Just like I go back and I go, okay, like you wrote down these people right here. Tell me about Sally, Susie. Now, Mrs. Jones, if I if you were me and I were you, I kind of sometimes like, if you were me and I were you, who would be your top 3 people? And if they gave you like 20 to 30, who's your top 5 people, that you'd want me to see right away? So on, da 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 da. Sweet. Now, out of those 5 people, is there anyone that we could possibly get a hold of right now? And they're like, maybe, maybe not, right? Like Mrs. And this is when you can not bribe them, but this is when you can tie them in again. Be like, Mrs. Jones, like my schedule, like today I was supposed to have 5 appointments and I only ended up having 2. And I really, really want to get my schedule packed for today. Is there any possible way we could contact them to see if I can see them right now? If they give you a neighbor, I'll go knock on the neighbor's door. Hey, I just saw so and so right here. What's gonna hurt? They're gonna say no. Come back another time. You're next door. Like, hey, no worries. They were able to see you, right? As long as you looked great and you presented yourself well. If you did an in-person demo, I do that all the time. And I've had people who are like, yeah, come on in, or like, yeah, so and so, let's schedule a time another time. Like I have something going on later. Yeah, no worries. Just wanted to see if it was really possible because I was already in the neighborhood. And that's how it should feel, right? Like you guys, like I said, you guys are seeing people that like whenever you get to people you don't know, because you spent almost an ample amount of time with them, an hour or so, it's like they should know you, right? And you should build that relationship in the beginning that sets the tone for the demo. So that way at the end, they're like, yeah, like I want to give you recommendations. Like I want to help a college kid out. I want to help you out. And also, you're a friend of so and so. That's how I know you, because you're so and so's kid or brother, sister, whoever. So definitely keep that up, like your schedule, right? Like if you have 20 appointments in front of you, do the leapfrog. Or between your appointments, make 5 phone calls, right? Maybe someone was unavailable in the morning, but they're available at lunchtime. Go back, right? Text, whatever, to keep your schedule consistently. Because yes, doing an all-day call day, it's tough. And like, who wants to do that every day? So that's why you have to segment it, right? And like, of course, you'll take Sundays. You want to do all that legwork right there, but in between, just to keep that consistency, just make the calls, in between. It definitely helps out. All right, that's all I have for y'all today. So yeah, like I said, any questions, just direct message me through GroupMe. And then also I will be putting out my schedule for virtual appointments. And even if you guys are in Houston and you want to come to a in-person demo, more than welcome to. All right. Because in-person is a lot of fun as well. All right. Well, that's all I have. Thank you guys. And I hope you guys